Okay,
What's
guys.
up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps.
That wasn't bad. Caught me off guard, but that wasn't bad.
Thank you. Finally, that's the first time he's ever said anything nice to me.
That's all bullshit. Oh my goodness, that was good. We got UFC San Diego coming up. What is this, Fight Night what? Or is it just going to be called San Diego?
Yo, why don't we just talk about Cruz and Chito and move on?
Yeah, I think this is San Diego, which is this Saturday. The main event, obviously, Dominic Cruz versus Chito Vera. This is a high-profile fight, I think, for the bantamweight division.
Yeah.
Obviously, for many reasons. One, both are highly ranked. Two, Dominic Cruz, legend, pioneer of the sport, and coming back after a big win over Pedro Munoz, if I believe. That was his last one. Yes, Pedro Munoz, and before that he beat Casey Kenny, so he's on a 2-fight win streak after losing to Henry Cejudo on short notice. He is 37 years old. Oh, wow. I didn't realize he's getting up there, man.
He is pretty old.
Yeah. For fight years, he's been around with the game. Actually, let me take a look. His debut,
Gary Vee would probably call him young.
2005. Dana would call him a kid. Dana calls everybody a kid. Gotta love the kid.
Yo, Dana's jacked. Can we just... Can we give him some flowers?
Dana, you're jacked, bro.
Like, he actually keeps getting leaner every time I see him.
Yeah?
I don't think he knows that I've seen him in person, but I have, and he looks lean.
I feel like he did look a little lean when we saw him at the Apex.
At the PI yesterday, he walked through.
The Apex?
No, at the PI. I saw him again.
At the UFC PI?
Yeah.
Where the workouts happen?
Yeah,
Oh.
in the cafeteria.
Okay, he never really comes there,
Yeah.
almost ever. It's like a rare sighting if he comes through.
Yeah, it was insane. He walked through. He just looked lean.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
What was he wearing?
Like Nike Dunks, some jogger, like something a kid would wear.
Yeah, yeah.
He's definitely like youthening himself.
Did he smell good?
I didn't get that close.
You didn't get that?
Next time I will make sure I
Get a little whiff.
make sure I catch those details.
Dana, you're getting younger. You're dressing like a kid, and you smell good.
He's got to be on some kind of like testosterone or
Oh,
something.
100%. Why would you not be? If I'm that age, dude,
Wait, so are you saying you're on test?
No.
Never mind. Because
If I
you
get
just
to
said
that-
why wouldn't
when
you be?
I get to that age, knock on wood, definitely gonna make sure that testosterone levels up. I got to be young and hungry.
Bro, I think
I gotta be able to keep up
I
with
need
Becca.
to take some TRT. Like, I feel like my test is already dropping.
Probably.
I'm 21.
I got to be able to keep up with my young lioness, Rebecca, soon to be Rebecca Sterling.
Dude, she tells you to get the fuck off her all the time, bro. What do you mean keep up?
I got to be able to keep up with her.
Get the fuck out of here.
She's an animal. All right, so we got this matchup.
That's what he wants you to think.
Chito Vera. He is 29 years old, represents Ecuador. He beat Rob Font in a very dominant fight. And it's hard for me to say that. He had the bigger moments that almost caused the fight to stop. Because Rob Font was piecing him up in almost every single round and then got caught with something huge and then dropped. And then from there, it was just bad.
It's like his chin wasn't able to hold up, but everything else was able to hold up.
I mean, if I front kicked you to the chin right now,
Yeah.
you're probably going down.
Yeah, that's true.
So, to be fair, there were some lethal strikes, but it was just
Yeah.
like, damn, bro, you can't win 4 minutes of the round and then
Yeah.
lose the last minute of each round. That's just crazy.
It's like his chin failed him, I guess, would be. Or
Not failed, I
Cheeto's
just
just
thought
a beast.
Chito just landed some hard shots, and that's why you fight. You can be better technically, which I thought Rob Font was a better technical fighter, but I think Chito was just in there to fight the entire 5-minute rounds, and each one he found the shot that dropped him and changed the tides real quick, man.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, man, because you could break up the fight in 2 minutes and the cops could come save your ass, and then you're like, I won the fight. But if you let the fight play out, what happens over the course of time? Eventually, that one person just needs to find. It's almost like Piotr Jan. He just needs to find that one shot.
Yeah.
And he's gonna send you to the gulags.
Yeah.
So
That's the sport. Like, you can be losing for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
You can be losing for a whole game and win by buzzer beater.
Chito's good, man. I think he's coming to his own. I think his mental capacity has definitely changed, and the way he approaches the sport, he now has that mean factor that I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna try to knock this guy out or just beat you down, which makes him more of a badass, you know.
like, yeah, it feels like he blossomed into like this. Just his attitude has become like more savage and focused, almost like, or he's just gotten more famous and you're starting to see it more.
No, I think he's now I think he's now more confident to just be who he is. Maybe he's always been like that, but maybe I think he was just turned down. And I think now he's like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'm just gonna turn it up and just be me.
I like it.
And I think him working with Jason Perillo has helped him out a lot. Now I don't know if that's him helping him find that inner mean to flip that switch when it's game time kind of thing. Or maybe he saw a sight coach or something, because a lot of people are doing that these days. So I don't know. There's a lot of factors that could have some bearing in his mindset shift that has allowed him to get to this point.
I wonder if it's how everyone kind of the criticism from maybe the way he beat Sean, because that's such a high profile. Like, people still talk about that fight.
Yeah, but even before that, I mean, he lost to Jose Aldo. He lost to Song Yadong, which a fight that I kind of thought he won too. And before that, he lost his last losses were to Douglas De Andrade and John Lineker, Davey Grant, Marco Beltran. So he's had a lot of ups and downs, man. He's like me. He's been in the UFC for a while. I think his debut, Ultimate Fighter 2014. Yep. So that's when he got in, and that's when I got in. He got in June. I got in February of 2014.
Were you on Contender Series or Ultimate Fighter?
No. There was no Contender Series back then.
You were just on Ultimate Fighter?
Contender Series is a new way to get these high-profile fights early and get these guys to just whoop each other's asses.
Which we should talk about the Contender Series later, but
yeah, so
after this. But yeah, the I don't know what. So you in the Ariel show, you said that you thought Cruz was gonna take it. You just
I think I'm not saying like, Cruz is definitely for sure gonna win. Like, it's gonna be a close fight. But I think Cruz is going to edge him out in each one of the rounds. I don't think he's going to be there to get clipped. Because if he does get clipped, I think his chin is very suspect. And we saw that with the Pedro Munoz fight when he got dropped early with those 2 shots. And mind you, Pedro hits hard.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hit by Pedro. He hits hard.
Yeah.
So I think if Cruz gets hit by Chito the same way he was able to hit Font, if he could connect the way he connected like that, I think Chito's going to get the finish. I think it's more for him to get the finish versus Cruz to win by decision.
Sure.
Like, if I were to bet, I would hedge it that way. And
but
I don't bet.
I feel like Cruz, like, I kind of agree with you. I feel like he has, like, more of the skills.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Chito can not get clipped or I don't know if Chito is going to go 25 minutes without landing something crazy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like.
Yeah.
And all he has to land is, like, 1 or 2.
Yeah. And the fight could be over.
Yeah. For anybody.
I think Cruz knows that. So, I don't know. When I think about it more, I can see that happening over the course of 25 minutes. But then I've also seen the toughness of Cruz just shine through, which is another thing. This could be the crossing of the roads right here, the passing of the torch.
Sure.
You know, that older guy, I don't want to call him a gatekeeper, but essentially that is where he is until he's back into that title shot conversation. So is it Chito going to take the torch and move on to the new era of MMA, or will Cruz still keep his flag planted in the ground and be like, nah, we're still here? And I think this is one of those the old guards meets the new guards kind of fight. So I don't know. I don't really know who's going to win it. But if I had to pick, I'm going with the guy that I think is more proven on a technical standpoint versus the guy who's just more tough. And he's still technical, but he's just more tough. Like, he's going to land that kill shot. But I think Cruz's IQ should outsmart him a bit, and I think he's going to utilize a lot of wrestling.
So what do you think they're fighting for? Are they fighting for a title, and then what?
Contention. Whoever wins is next.
You think?
I think so.
Over Merab and Aldo?
I think it's like a bracket.
Okay.
Okay, so now they're both in the semifinals. I think you got these guys on the semifinals, and you got Merab and Jose Aldo in the semifinals. Whoever wins looks more impressive, kind of like the Dana White Contender Series. Whoever looks more impressive, they get the contract. Whoever wins gets a title shot.
So is it whoever wins gets a title shot, or whoever wins fights each other? Because, like, let's say Chito and Merab
that could happen.
Win, then they fight. I could see that happening, especially since you and Merab won't fight each other.
But then why? Why would they fight each other? Then who would I or TJ fight?
Whoever wins, Peter Yan or Sean O'Malley.
Oh, if they did that, bro.
If Sean O'Malley wins, they're giving him a title shot.
Depends how he wins. It depends how.
I don't know. I feel well because who would he fight if he wins? I could see them not giving one to Piotr because he just lost twice.
Yeah.
But Sean, I don't know. But then again, I don't know if they want him to fight you.
Yeah, and then if you get O'Malley, if you get Jan that wins, but if TJ were to somehow beat me, knock on wood, I could see them wanting to make that fight too.
The
UFC, they're gonna do whatever they think the metrics are saying. This is the biggest fight that we can make right now.
Well, then if Sean wins, then I would assume they give him a title shot.
I could see it happening, and if I win,
you would want that fight too.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean,
that'd be a pretty nice payday.
I mean, yeah. Anytime he's on the same card while you have pay-per-view points.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
I owe him a cut. I owe him a cut.
You owe him a cut, dude.
Sean,
you might as well
got
sign him as your manager.
Sean, where's my wallet? I gotta send you where's my financial advisor? I'm gonna make sure we send him out a check today.
50%.
Maybe like a quarter. We'll start at a quarter.
A quarter.
He does bring some value, but I just gotta check the metrics and make sure he's actually the one doing all the legwork. You know.
What do you think? Can we get an official weekly scraps response to him?
Before we get to the weekly scraps response, shout out G Fuel. And right now, from August 11th to August 15th, we are doing a promo boost. Use my code ALJO, ALJO, and get yourself 30% off. This is Naruto, actually. So all my anime fans out there, 30% off until the 15th. So go get you sums.
Amazing, brother.
Amazing, brother.
Anyway, so the weekly scraps official response. Sean said that he deserves half your pay-per-view because you get pay-per-view points since you're the champ and he doesn't, but he's on the same card as you and he thinks he's deserving of whatever because he's the biggest draw. What do you think about this?
I mean, the way he knocked out Chito Vera and the way he knocked out Pedro Munoz, I think is definitely holds a lot of water. I mean, he's definitely the guy, right? He's undefeated.
I'm not. This is for you to.
He's
criticize.
undefeated. He's never had a no contest. He's never. I don't know. I feel like we all owe him a piece of that bread, you know. So, Sean, like I said, I'm gonna contact my financial advisor. 25% of these pay-per-view sales are going towards you. I'm gonna talk to Dana. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna make sure we get the metrics right though, and then we can figure out like how we're gonna make sure that you get paid.
Here's my question. What if Sean never becomes champion and he doesn't get pay-per-view? Like, is he gonna keep calling? Like, let's say he loses a title fight. Is he gonna keep saying he deserves half the pay-per-view points? You know.
I mean, but let's be honest. He does though. I think anyone on the pay-per-view card is on the pay-per-view card for a reason. They're not putting someone on the pay-per-view for shits and giggles. They're putting someone on there that they think can help move the needle in some type of way, even if it's not a tremendous amount. Tremendous.
Do you think he's really driving half the pay-per-view?
I don't know about all that, but
because that's a lot, especially like that's a stacked ass card.
I mean, he wasn't on my last card.
No, and that one did pretty good, right?
I think so. I mean, the numbers definitely aren't like millions anymore, but I think that's also because I think a lot has changed with the model. Now they're dealing directly with ESPN, so there's no middleman with pay-per-view, which was Cablevision. And on top of that, I think they have more of a revenue share, so I think they actually take home more of the pie than they did before in the past with this ESPN deal. So I think they're just laughing all the way to the bank. And that's why I think it's not a big sweat if they don't have a Conor, because they're still having all these record-breaking numbers for all these events.
I actually think they're making the pay-per-view more expensive.
And that, too, I forgot to say that.
That's making them go down. But I actually think they're slowly going to move away from that model. And I've heard Dana talk about this in interviews where he wants to, like, be able to broadcast to the whole world. Like, his goal is to get the whole world to see the UFC fights. And they're starting to sign these broadcasting deals. And the U.S. is the only huge market where they're like selling pay-per-views. A lot of other countries, they just stream them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying this because I heard him say something like this, where his dream back in the day was one day there's going to be the technology to stream these across the whole world, and everyone's going to watch these. And so I just have a theory, because I think they can make more money overall But if the whole world is watching rather than selling pay-per-views.
I don't know.
It's a theory.
I have no idea. I don't know what that looks like in terms of the numbers.
Well,
Like what those deals will look like if they're broadcasting it. What do the numbers look like with those broadcast networks? That's
I
the
don't
difference.
know. But if you get the whole world watching something, I assume you can make more ad dollars than. And if
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't do that type of shit, man. My job is to get in the cage,
Yeah.
go punch somebody in the face, and hug their back ever so gently.
Gently. Just
Free hugs, everybody. Free hugs.
Hold on to their back for dear life.
Yeah,
Because
dear
you're
life.
not dangerous.
I'm not dangerous whatsoever. Yeah, that's actually the funniest thing. Oh yeah, and speaking of Sean, we have his little take that he heard. So he put out a little piece. He heard that I get ragdolled by Marab all the time in the gym, and that's why I'm planning to go up to 145.
Apparently, he said this like a month ago, though. And I just saw the
Was it
clip.
a month ago?
It was when you were talking about going up to 145, and that whole thing like broke the internet.
I feel like the only way that could have ever been said, and I don't know if he's just trolling or not, is if someone from the gym actually said something to him.
But who would say that?
I don't
and
know.
what did they see? Because I don't
Well,
wanna
not my gym in New York. I'm talking out here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Because if it was a month ago, I was out here in Vegas. So,
Well, here's what I think happened. You said I wouldn't fight Merab. I'm going to go up to 145 maybe. Sean was probably talking to someone who doesn't like you and they probably said that to him. Oh, yeah, he's probably just getting ragdolled by Merab. He doesn't want the smoke.
yeah, but he said, no, I heard that he does get ragdolled.
Yeah, but
As if someone
when
actually
things-
seen something and then actually told him that.
I think someone who also heard it probably told him. Because
I don't know.
who's seen that? You guys are very competitive. No one's getting ragdolled.
Literally no one. Unless they saw me in the beginning of training camp with him when I've been drinking the whole time. And
But even
I'll be
then,
the first to admit, that's why I don't spar with Merab until I have like at least a week of training underneath my legs before I just jump in, because if I do that, it's just asking for bad things to happen.
well, yeah, I mean,
But even then, like I defend myself pretty well, but I'm on my ass a lot of the time, which that's not fun for nobody. And he doesn't get any work that way, so I don't want to waste his time coming in when I'm out of shape. I could do that with some of the amateur guys and the younger pros who aren't as skilled. But a guy like him, it's a waste of time because he's not going to get anything out of it.
yeah, but even then, who's getting ragdolled?
I don't think either one of us gets ragdolled.
No. So who, like, that's never happened.
Yeah, so it's just funny. It's actually cute. I don't know if he's like trying to start like some type of internal beef, which is just funny because I just laugh, and I know Marab finds it funny too. So it is what it is, man. He can say
It's
whatever
funny
he wants.
because he would get ragdolled by both of you.
That is
I
hilarious.
think.
And I think that's what he's trying to avoid. He's like, man, I hope these guys take each other out so that I don't have to get ragdolled by either one of them. Or
Like,
even
imagine
Ricky Simone.
Sean fighting Merab. I don't even want to hate on Sean, but, like, I feel like they don't want to make that fight.
They don't.
Because that fight could have
Stylistically.
easily happened. Like, they're both kind of right there. I don't know.
He's literally getting the McGregor treatment on the way to a title shot. Like, this fight gives him the McGregor treatment in terms of stylistic matchups. He has not fought a single grappler
I mean, you can...
outside
yeah.
of Chito. And Chito is not really a grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu-based fighter who is willing to stand on the feet, and if the fight hits the ground, he's looking to throw up elbows and look for submissions.
Right. But that's
It's not a grappler.
not a wrestler.
Yeah. It's not like Conor McGregor fighting Chad Mendes, short notice. It's one of those things. It's like, here's the layup. I'm throwing it against the backboard. All you have to do is put it in the rim. That's all you have to do.
Well, and even if he loses to Peter Yan, it's like,
It's a win-win.
yeah.
This guy don't lose nothing.
No one thinks... I don't think people really expect him to win.
Yeah.
But I could also see a way he does.
I think he can win too. I mean, Peter just walks people down. He's hittable. Sean has good footwork. He's hard to hit. But people also headhunt him where he's able to get his head out of the way. I think Jan is going to be a lot more calculated, and he's more of a veteran in the striking department where he's not going to go chasing him up top. So if he's missing swinging at my head, he's going to have a hard time swinging and missing at O'Malley's head. The smarter path to victory against a guy like O'Malley, chop down his fucking legs when he's trying to circle away and chop him to the body.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even kick that much. I would attack the body with hands. Because that you can at least touch him. He's gonna, if you pressure him, he's gonna go straight backwards and he's going to hit the cage. His back will find the cage, and that is your opportunity. And you can't get juked out of your shoes, and then get left on stupid, and then he pivots out back to the circle, and then he hits you as he pivots out. So you have to understand this attacking situation and the sequences that he typically finds himself in, and the people who actually been able to touch him a few times see where they have success, and that's where you got to kind of have that mindset. You look at the Pedro Munoz fight. Pedro was winning the fight. O'Malley started to pull away in the second round, landing a little bit more strikes with the hands. That's a fact. But you look at the success that he had cutting him off, and Pedro's a much smaller guy with a very, very short reach. His reach is like 66. My reach is 71. I'm 5'7". Pedro's 5'6", but his arms are really, really like short. O'Malley, I think, is 72. So, and he's also 5'10" or 5'11". So you gotta pick a guy like that off, and you gotta have the right training partners, the right sparring. And I think Jan is smart enough to do that. I really do. I give the guy a lot of credit in terms of like his fight IQ and understanding how to make adjustments in the middle of a fight. I just think he has a little bit of trouble fighting guys that have good footwork. Those are the guys that's going to give him the most trouble. Myself, Dillashaw, O'Malley.
Yeah.
But if he fights a guy like Chito, who stands right in front, he fights a guy like Rafa, who stands right in front, he's going to have success with guys like that. Jose Aldo, guys who stand right in front of him, gives him exactly what he wants, an opportunity to figure out where you're coming from, and then he could ping those shots in.
So there's the other thing is, like, Sean has a ton of range on him.
72-inch reach.
Yeah. But I heard Chael say this, and I want to ask you what you think. Chael says, like, the guys who have the reach, what happen, like, when someone gets close to them, or like if they get backed against the fence, they can't really land as effectively because they're so long. They need kind of a distance to have maximum power. Is that true?
That's 100% true. The smaller guy who could get on the inside of a taller, rangier guy is always going to have more success when he could get inside. And that's why I think having O'Malley find his back against the cage is going to be your key to success against a guy like that. Because if you let him sit on the outside and pick you apart, good luck, because the guy's good. That's one thing I can say. He can pick his shots. He's good. We just don't know how tough he is. So he can sit there and beat a hammer all day long, but the moment things start to get tough, then he has to show us who he really is. And I think that's what we're going to see with this one in Abu Dhabi. So I'm excited for that fight as well as I am for my own fight. Because I got a kind of a guy who will stand in front, but at the same time, he switched stances a lot. So it's going to be a little bit of a mix of both. So I got to make real adjustments versus like when I prepared for Jan, I just know this guy's just going to come forward the entire time. And then if I did go forward, he was just going to go backwards and just have his hands up, covering his face. So you have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know how to be honest with your assessment and give the proper credit where it's due and see where guys are really deficient, where they're really successful, and see how you can capitalize with your own skill set. And I think Jan has the tools to win, and I think O'Malley has the tools to win, and I think this is going to be a fun fight no matter what. And with that being said, I got to make sure that I send O'Malley his pay-per-view cut, and with that being said, also I got Jan in 3.
Jan in 3. Okay. There's 2 fights I want to touch on before you wrap up. The Kamaru versus Leon fight and Nate versus Khamzat.
All right, so this Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, this is, for me, as a fellow brother, Wakanda forever, it's a tough one, man. You got a guy who's making so much history, especially as an African-American fighter, and Kamaru Usman, and then you got Leon Edwards, Jamaican descent, and now living in the UK, another guy making history. For these guys to be fighting for the belt, I'm like super torn. One, for my own country's success and helping to catapult the sport in our country, and the other because I'm a big fan of Usman and all the things that he's done. So for me, this is like a may the best man win. But from a technical standpoint, I think Usman has more tools to win than Leon Edwards does. When you watch Edwards versus Gunnar Nelson, if that takedown happened any earlier in that round, Gunnar probably finishes the fight after losing 2 rounds dominantly to Leon Edwards. Leon's going to be the cleaner, better striker. Usman's going to be more powerful, and he's going to have the wrestling pedigree. He's not going to have the submission skills, but he's going to have the wrestling pedigree to hold him down, keep him against the cage, wear him down with knees if he needs to. And Edwards has to show that he's made those improvements and closed that gap since the last time they fought. And I just don't know if he has, because he hasn't really fought a style like that other than Bilal, but then that fight ended in a no contest due to an eye poke.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree.
It's a tough one to call. I don't know who's going to win that.
Yeah, because have we really seen Kamaru fight that good of a striker?
Masvidal?
That's true. But is he as good as Leon?
Maybe Leon is maybe more accurate than Masvidal, but Masvidal is like tricky. He's quicker, I think, with the way he throws his hands and the way he does his level changes and his feints. So I think that's the difference between their striking style. I think Leon's more of a straight down the pipe, southpaw, clean, gonna pick you apart with a jab, a nice 1-2, maybe a hook here and there, or rip the body. He'll throw that head kick from southpaw position as well. So it's he's very efficient with his striking and his output. So I don't know. This is a tough fight, man. I don't know who's gonna win this one. If I had to pick, though, I think I lean on the side of Usman. I just think he has a little bit more tools to win. If he needs to change the fight and make it a boring, ugly fight, he could do that. I can't see Leon being able to do that to Usman. He's going to be too big, too strong.
Yeah.
But Usman does have bad knees, man. He's talked about that at length.
But how can you attack that to your advantage? Like, just kick his knee? You can't kick his knees.
I mean, you can kick the knee, but I'm not saying that's like, oh, this is the way to win. But it limits him in training in terms of running. Like, he doesn't run. I don't run.
Yeah. But you don't have to run, really.
Yeah, some people make it seem like that's the end all be all, but I know a lot of people who do not run. It's not boxing. You're not going to be standing up the entire time. Well, you are kind of standing up the entire time, but you're not looking to have footwork for the entire 12-round fight kind of thing. So it's a little different, the cardio, and it's not just all boxing.
Right.
It's a lot of different other factors.
Right.
I don't know how he could use that to his advantage, but for me, maybe I'm like, I'm healthier. I should be able to push the pace harder than he. Like, maybe that's the one thing I could try to tell myself in the camp. But as we've seen, he's been so dominant. Now finishing guys, putting them away, lapping up the division. It's a tough fight. I think Leon's in for a long night, but I think he could give him some pushback, and maybe he could land that shot, because we know Kobe touched him. And it's a fist fight. Anything can happen. Leon's a cleaner striker than Kobe Covington.
Yes.
He's not going to be looking to mix in the wrestling, so that can make things easier for Usman also, because he just knows that he's looking specifically for one thing. But if I'm Usman, I'm looking to make your ass wrestle. Like, let's see how good you close that department instead of me trying to prove a point. And then maybe if I get you tired, now I'm looking to strike.
I agree. And it's not like we've seen Kamaru. He's really good at striking now.
Yeah.
So, like the guys he knocked out Jorge.
Yeah, he's a lot more competent and powerful.
Yes.
You put that together, that's a dangerous guy.
And you have the threat of the takedown, which always seems to make the striking a little more available.
Yeah. And if Edwards beats Usman, he's up there in that GOAT conversation.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Usman's in that conversation right now.
But
he beats Edwards, then look where that puts him in terms of winning streak and just what he's done.
I thought you said if Edwards beats him.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that I feel like you beat a guy like that who's been so dominant. I feel like it has to.
If you beat Kamaru and then you go on a little title run, yeah, you kind of cement your name in history.
But do you even have to go on a title run? You beat the guy who people are saying is the GOAT.
Well, I think so.
Who's arguably like the new era GOAT.
Like Conor, like he beat Jose Aldo.
Usman hasn't lost since his second pro fight.
That's insane.
And his record is, what is it? I'm looking at it right. 20-1. So he's on an insane win streak. He's up there with GSP, John Jones, not in like title wins, but just on a win streak. That's one of the longest.
Yeah. But I still don't think that if you beat the guy who's on top, you become one of the GOATs.
Then what's the point of having it?
I mean, you still have to, I feel like you still have to like pad the resume a little. Because now, okay, let's say Leon beats Kamaru and then he loses the next fight. He has one title win against Kamaru, but then he lost it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kamaru, GSP, John Jones, Mighty Mouse, they all have a bunch of title wins. So it's kind of like...
Then if he were to beat the guy who's now number one pound for pound, then where do you put him? Like if he were to win and then lose, where do you put him?
After he loses?
Yeah, if he beats the man, then loses the very next fight.
Then he's up there still, of course. Yeah. Like Henry beat Mighty Mouse and then lost the next fight, he's not looked at the same way he is now. He had to go and win a few more.
He also went up a weight class.
But I mean, still, that's impressive.
Yeah, but he fought a guy on short notice, up a weight class. A little different.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I got to call it how I see it. I ain't hating on Henry. I ain't hating on Chito. I ain't hating on none of these guys, on Molly, Jan. I just call it how I see it. No bullshit. People say what they say about me. No bullshit. I call it how I see it. So there's no mixed opinions on that.
No, I mean, that's fair. Like, I think people look at Henry like he's invincible. Which
I don't understand.
He's an Olympic gold medalist, D1 wrestler, champion, all those things.
Yeah. And then we got Khamzat Chimaev taking on Nate Diaz. This one's a good one too. I think people are sleeping on Nate. I think Nate's coming in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because I think he's got a couple of things to prove. He's going to prove that he can go with this guy. It's going to be 5 rounds. As long as he's got that scar tissue shit taken care of, I think this fight is going to be very competitive.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like he hung in there with Leon. Like, Leon didn't really... It was one-sided, but Leon didn't make it one-sided. Like, yo, you were getting your ass kicked every single round badly where the ref was going to stop every single round. It wasn't like that. And then he landed that one really good shot towards the end of round 5 where he starts pointing at him, and Leon's on rocky legs. Oh, that's no pun intended. His name's Rocky.
Oh.
So with that being said, you look at Khamzat and his fight with Burns, and Burns humanized him. Burns took the aura, took the light, and he dimmed it all the way down. And that's for me, that showed that he's good, but he's not the best guy right now.
He's not the best guy.
Not right now.
But he's better than Gilbert Burns.
Some people still think Gilbert won that fight.
I mean,
we were there.
I thought Gilbert lost.
You thought he lost? Like, yeah,
I thought he lost the last round, which sealed the deal.
I thought that last round was close.
It was.
And I would have to watch it again to really score that round to go, okay, now I can see why he won, or I can see why people say that Burns won. So I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying, like, that fight is still like a flip-flop for fans.
All right, let's say it's just even for the sake of conversation. He's on Gilbert Burns' level.
He's good.
He's not been... I mean, Nate's still competitive, but he's not been as good. He's also had a lot of time off.
And he fought Masvidal and got pieced up really badly.
Yeah.
And that's why I was talking about the dynamic striking and the speed of Masvidal for his striking. But then the scar tissue, his face was like literally about to fall off.
Yeah. I mean, and that
doesn't help him.
He's
whatsoever.
damaged.
Yeah. So it's not like if you take away the scarring, and it's just like, damn, could that fight have shaped up into something else? We don't know. Because sometimes Masvidal gets tired in the past. You see Chimaev, he slowed down a bit against Burns.
Yeah.
You get a guy who's known to gas pedal guys and get them exhausted. It's an interesting fight. I think people are kind of writing him off too early. But I think if Khamzat takes him down right away and gets on his back, maybe he chokes him out real quick. But you're talking about Nate Diaz. I don't think... I mean, he's a BJJ black belt. Like, he will pull guard in a fight. Like, that's how confident he is in his BJJ skills. So, with that being said, I think it's a more competitive fight. But the scar tissue and the damage, if he gets popped, which he will that make the fight look worse than what it actually is from somebody else who's a little bit fresher in the face?
But I also wonder how much power does Khamzat have? Like, can he do a lot of damage to Nate?
I mean, he cracked Burns with some shit.
Yeah.
I think he can, but he also took a lot of shots.
Because I think Khamzat said he wants to finish Nate.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants to finish everybody.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
like
goal.
he tweeted out like, I'm gonna be the guy to finish Nate Diaz because like nobody was able to.
Well, Masvidal did, but it was kind of a doctor jumping in saying like the damage was too significant.
Yeah, but
he was getting his ass kicked.
He was, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like Nate. There's no way for him to really win. He can do good.
I think he could submit him.
Submit Khamzat?
Yeah. By exhaustion, get him tired, and then jumping on a submission.
Dude,
the same way he did Conor McGregor.
I kind of hope that happens, and he just fucks up the whole UFC's plans. Like,
I don't know who's gonna win this fight. It's gonna be a good one either way. But I think people are writing off Nate and making it seem like he has no way. Like obviously the odds are severely in the favor of Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah,
he's a dog. He's a beast.
Yeah,
but I think Nate's got the experience that Khamzat doesn't really have. I think he got a lot of it now after going with Burns toe to toe like that. That should have been a 5-round fight. But whatever, 3-round fight. Sometimes you're not gonna be able to get all these fights at a 5-rounder. And imagine that fight going for 2 more rounds, bro. I don't know how does that fight end?
I feel like both of them like were gassed out by then, so it would have just been insane.
Yeah. And Khamzat's a big dude. He's a big dude. That's
He's
the
huge.
That's the
He cuts a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's
we
the other
saw
side
him
of it.
that week. He looked like he was suffering from the weight cut.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
and Nate's not the biggest welterweight. We seen when he fought Rory McDonald, he kind of got ragdolled a bit in that one. Roy literally just picked him up multiple times and kind of just kept slamming him on the ground.
Yeah.
So that kind of worries me a bit going into this one. But I think Nate's gonna be. I think he's just got a lot more experience since that has happened to him way back then. That was like what, almost 10 years ago.
So Nate's path to victory is like gas.
He's got to get him tired,
and then
he's not gonna outstrike him, which he probably could. But
is he gonna out-grapple him?
Khamzat's not gonna stand there and strike with him and give him a chance to like stay in the fight. He's gonna strike just enough to get to the single leg, then get to the double, pick his ass up, bring him over to Dana, maybe talk to Dana a little bit, slam him down, and then try to finish the fight. But I think Nate's crafty enough to survive, and I think that's what's going to make it interesting because he's not going to be like Leach. He's not going to be like any of these other guys who kind of just have no idea how to defend a submission.
Yeah.
And I think with that, like, what's he going to do, ground and pound him? I think Nate's pretty good on the ground, whereas, like, he's going to be able to tie him up. I just think this fight's going to be a lot more competitive where Khamzat is strong. Diaz is also strong. He's just a smaller and not as big of a guy.
No.
And I think that's what's going to make it different. The difference, like, can he get him tired enough that he can stay in the fight and find a way to kind of get him out of there? Because he ain't going to win the decision. I don't think he's beating him by decision.
No. The only way, I guess, is, submission.
The same way Conor beat him by decision. He had a war of attrition, just had to chip away and survive the Nate Diaz comeback. So can he do that with Khamzat?
Shit. I don't know.
I think Khamzat still wins.
Yeah.
But I think Diaz is going to make it interesting, and Diaz having just one more fight, I think he wants to go do other things and make more money doing other sports, maybe boxing a Jake Paul. So kudos to him, man. I don't see why he shouldn't do something like that.
That's why, bro, if he beats Khamzat,
it's like, fuck you, I'm out.
Leaves and boxes Jake Paul, his value is so high. I do want to ask you, what does this fight do for Khamzat?
I don't think it does anything.
Like, I'm
other than just a popular fight. It's just a popularity fight.
But yeah, like he just beat Gilbert Burns. Now he's fighting Nate Diaz in his ascension to the title shot. I just don't see what this does for him. Like a win, like where it doesn't advance him really. It just makes him more popular.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is more high. What would you call it? High risk, and people. But he might say it's not a risk at all. But I think it's high risk, low reward.
High risk in the sense that if you lose to Nate Diaz,
yeah, it's like, what does it do for you? Like, you're already the guy at the top. Like, you are on the doorstep of title shot. Go fight a Bilal, even though they probably don't want him to fight Bilal.
I feel like
Bilal says he wants to fight.
I feel like he should have fought Colby. But yeah, I think he's
Kobe
got
ain't taking that fight. Stylistically,
To me, that's the fight to get.
He's the bigger Kobe Covington, except with maybe striking's still pretty even, but he's the bigger Kobe Covington.
Well,
he could do what Kobe does.
But yeah, but then So what does Nate like? I don't know. What does he do after? What does he do after he beats Nate? Does he fight Bilal or Kobe?
Nah, he's just there. He's just in this
or
void,
Leon
dancing around like.
I feel like the only guy.
I eat everybody, brother. I eat everybody.
I feel like the only guy who could beat him right now is Kamaru. Like I actually think Kamaru would beat him.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. It doesn't seem like it seems like all the other guys are like too small. I mean, Gilbert could probably beat him in a 5-round fight.
I think they had a rematch. The rematch is completely different, and I still don't know who wins. I think that fight is just stylistically, their attributes match up very, very well.
Yeah.
So,
And Gilbert
ain't no bitch. Khamzat ain't no bitch either.
No.
And with that said, I got sparring with Marab coming up, so I got to get out and go start warming up. And again, remember, promo code is ALJO for G Fuel. Go get your discounted energy drinks, people. 30% off until the 15th. And I think we're out.
Molly McCann versus
Like, subscribe.
I'm trying to start a whole new conversation.
And we are out. Peace.